All right, what's going on, everybody? This is another episode of the First and Framerates podcast. This is episode number 28. First of all, everybody who comes through and watch our podcast, everybody who just come through and just comment or let us know that you like what we do, we really appreciate you guys. We appreciate the guys who just are curious about it and actually want to listen. I mean, that's well enough for me. We just ask for you just to spread the word. And today, once again, it's just going to be Bills. I think DJ's probably a little under the weather. Pretty busy weekend, one of the two. You know how it is. At the end of the day, we do this for a hobby and we have lives. So, Bills, man, how's your week? How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been chilling. Went to a party the other day. So everything's been pretty chill. How about you?
Yeah, I just been working on some stuff in this game room. I got all my consoles together. It's still a little junky in here for all the stuff I've been moving around, but I did manage to get a sound system up. So not only I'll get to play my games in very good, very good quality, I have sound quality too, and it pretty much bounces off the room now. So the games are actually more immersive to me, which, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we want our sports titles to be immersive as well, right?
That's what we would hope, right?
Yeah, so I mean, with that being said, that'll be a very quick segue into what this episode is pretty much all about. This week or the weeks coming up, and basically all the sports titles that we've been looking for the next few weeks, next months, is going to be the new sports titles. I mean, that's all that we're pretty much looking forward to, and that's what we pretty much talk about on this podcast. And we're basically going to talk about our expectations for each game that's about to release, since they're about to come out in a very short time. I'm going to ask you first, what game do you want to talk about first, and what expectations you have for that game?
I mean, we can get Madden out of the way. It's up to you.
I mean, it's fine with me. I mean, we're just going to knock them out one by one and pretty much give everybody a realistic, our realistic expectations and what we want in these games. Madden is very easy. We did play the beta, and we both also had fun with the beta. Personally, I think the game is well on its way to be a pretty good football game. I don't expect it to be much more than what some of these other people who want a full simulation game to be. I'm pretty much content where I know what to expect from Madden. I'm content with that. I know what to expect from it, so I'm not trying to throw any unrealistic expectations on it. With that being said, I personally think it's going to be a good game based on what I played in the beta and with some of these new videos that came out. My expectations really, I think it's going to be a solid game as far as the football, X's and O's on the field. I think they've done enough for it to be a really solid game for anybody who just, I'll say honestly, a casual gamer. They possibly could play this game year round. Now, if you're a sim head like me, my main thing is if the franchise is on point where I can actually use strategy to go about each game to game, I'm all in. I mean, because the football on the field could be great. It could be perfect. But if I'm just playing a bunch of play now games, I don't feel like I'm playing for a purpose. I play football games. I play any sports title. I play to win, and I play to win championships. Even no matter how fake and phony these phony Super Bowl or NBA championship or World Series championship trophies be on these games, they could, they're just virtual, trophies. But I play to win. I play to win, and I play for those accomplishments. And if I'm just playing a bunch of play now games, I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth. But for the casual gamer, based on me playing the beta and see what I see on these videos, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I'm going to give my very early prediction that this game could be easily maybe an 8.5, maybe a 9.5 out of 10 as far as the game in general. That's pretty much my expectations. We'll see once the game releases, see if we actually got close to that. And that's pretty much it for me. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, I played the beta. I was definitely encouraged by the beta.
Yeah, me too.
It's a lot more balanced and it's a lot more, what's the word? Probably, I'd say a lot smoother. A lot more realistic as far as the movement is concerned, for sure. So I expect it to be a really good football sim. I expect it to get a grade as far as gameplay around what you were saying, a 9.5,
I,
which
I
a lot of people might think is high, but if you play that game and you see how much RPM actually matters in the game, you see that they fixed the physics. The two-man animations have been fixed. Man-to-man defense is back from the perspective of being able to swat the ball, knock the ball out after they caught it, et cetera, et cetera. All those things I think make for a really good football game. Then you look at the improvements that they made in franchise, and it looks like we're going to get a pretty good game.
See, that's what I'm looking forward to. I need to know what this franchise mode is going to be about. If I don't get this franchise mode down to where I want it, I mean, I don't need a blown away franchise mode. Just, if you can give me something similar to Madden 25, which
All
if
right.
you can give me that, I'm content. I'm not asking for much, but I just need something that just don't feel like it's blah. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I need to feel something dynamic. It's like when you played let's say for instance Madden 18. When I
Mm-hmm.
played the franchise mode in that, and the week to week adjustments you had to make. Don't get me wrong, I like what they did with the different schemes you had to use, but they just felt like they were all for nothing. It didn't. I didn't feel the improvement of none of the players. I mean, with Madden 25, I don't know what was in that game, but they just naturally progressed, and they
Mm-hmm.
did a pretty good job. I mean, that in NCAA 14, they're basically the same game, but one is a college game, one's an NFL game, and you can see the difference in the progression of those players. Now, I can't really want to speak for Madden 25 on the PS4. I mean, I did play like 3 or 4 seasons of that game,
Mm-hmm.
but the PS3 version of Madden 25, you felt the team change. You don't feel that in Madden. You didn't feel that in the past few Maddens when you play franchise. That's why I say for play now, if you just like a guy to play now, you want to play Madden Ultimate Team, you want to play, and that's another thing. Madden Ultimate Team has that. They have that chemistry, or they have that sense of the team actually change based on
Mm-hmm.
what you put it. They need that in franchise mode, and it's like I said, if you play to play now and you just want to play with some buddies online or whatever, knock yourself out. I think you're going to have a fantastic time.
Right.
And like once again, I think this is based on what we've played so far. We played the beta. We saw the videos that are the newer videos with more of the fixes. I'm not even going to talk about the real player movement. I'm not going to speak on it. I like what I see, but I'm not going to speak on it until I actually get the full game in my hands and actually play it. Because it's one thing to see it. I want to feel it too, so I can give our listeners a really good idea of what they're getting into.
That's true. I will say this. I don't really care if I get in trouble for saying this. Um, so when we played the beta, there was a bug for the running,
The acceleration bug.
the acceleration bug. Now, from all the gameplay I've watched, they fixed it, but we got to get the game to see for sure because it could be um something that still pops up
Yeah,
sporadically.
yeah.
So, I only got a couple days left until it comes out. It should be coming out Wednesday night or Thursday morning for EA Access. So I could definitely give y'all a better idea of exactly where it is at that point. But like I said, everything from the beta pretty much aside from the bugs, it's a beta, of course they're gonna be bugs. Everything aside from those, like the game was pretty good.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people were complaining about the game for what it was and what they were doing. But like, and it's not a knock on you because I know you're not very familiar with this. Because if you play games on PC, you would know you will have ran into a beta before. You know where bugs going to show up,
Yeah.
and I haven't really tripped on Madden because of the fact that it was a beta. But you had some people like really pulling their hair out because some things wasn't going right. I'm like, dude, it's a beta. Look, I played the Insurgency beta, the new Insurgency game that's coming out. I played the beta of that, and it
Hmm.
had bugs in that too. But that's one thing. I think us as console gamers just have to be more acclimated into. Okay, this is a beta, and we know it's not going to be 100%. But but from what I saw in the beta, I still thought it was a pretty. I'll tell you this much: that Madden 19 beta was better than Madden 18.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was better than Madden 18.
Of course.
And the fact that they put a patch in the beta, which no game that I know of ever really put a patch in a beta.
Hmm.
And that goes for even PC. I mean, unless if you got the early access games, which I don't think that's a beta. I think that's a quick rich scheme. But I'm not gonna go to that. That's another topic for another day. But these betas, you never really hear about a patch inside of a beta. They'll tell you, okay, that's what we see that's wrong. We'll go back to the drawing board and we'll fix it once the game releases. You don't get that. You don't get that in the middle of a beta and continue to play the game. So
Right.
I mean, that alone, that's why for me when I first saw it, I was like, yo, these dudes are really trying to get this game right, and I commend them for that. And at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I think that we're going to get a pretty decent game overall. I mean, if that franchise mode is on point, I'm good. Not to say that I'm bent out of shape if it's not. I mean, I'm still going to be really objective because at the end of the day, it's about the sport. If the game replicates the sport, it's all on the up and up.
Yep.
But for me, what keeps me going is the franchise mode. So, like we both in agreement that it's going to be like a 9, maybe 8.59 coming up.
Gameplay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see if we're wrong once the game releases, or if it's going to be higher. You never know. So, since you talked about Madden, I think we're going to keep it in the same company, and we're going to talk about another EA topic. I mean, EA topic, another EA game, and I'm going to talk about NHL because that beta just came out. And,
Oh, have you played it yet?
man, I got it downloaded. I haven't touched it. You can
Bro.
talk. You can talk about it. I don't care because I want people to know what they think of the beta and what the expectations of the game. I've watched it, but I have not played it. I got it downloaded on my PS4 though.
So, um, everybody from an NHL purist to an NHL casual fan is gonna love this game.
Man, let me tell you something right now before I stop you.
Hmm.
He could be talking about NHL 19 right now. That statement could be made for NHL 18. That game is
Oh,
cool.
definitely.
I'm so serious. NHL 18 is probably one of the best sports title, if not top 3 best sports title I've played, hands down. So I'm really looking forward to 19. Now you can go ahead.
Yeah, 19. So everything as far as these EA titles this year pretty much centers around RPM, real player movement. So it's no different than in NHL. They added RPM to make the skaters look a little bit more realistic when they're accelerating and turning. Same with the defenders when they're turning, they look a little bit more realistic. That also affects the physics with the hits. Now a lot of the things that they have with sliders come out in the game without even having to make a slider set. As far as weight mattering, momentum, and all those things going into hits. The puck physics are great in the game. They actually, and this is another thing that I actually want your view on, even though you haven't played it, but there's a lot of controversy out right now as far as the poke check is concerned, because a lot of people are complaining because they're getting these tripping penalties with the poke check.
You're doing it wrong. It's all about timing. I learned that in NHL 18.
Exactly. So NHL 18, you could get penalized for tripping in NHL 18, but in 19 it's ramped up. So they're making sure that people are not spamming the poke check. And my response was, why should they dumb down the poke check? It's supposed to be a skill-based mechanism. It's supposed to be a skill-based mechanic. You can't just... Hockey players don't just skate around the ice trying to poke the puck loose when they know that the guy can trip over their hockey stick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the poke check is, believe it or not, a very dangerous attempt at trying to take the puck back. It is. So there have been a lot of tripping penalties. People are complaining. Oh, you need to turn down the penalties. You need to put up the poke check effectiveness. For me, I'm like, no. Keep it the way it is.
You want me to be honest with you? Since it's a beta, I would not be surprised if they do tweak it. And I don't.
They will tweak it, but it won't be because of the execution. It'll be because people are complaining.
Yeah, I think the actual penalty being called will be turned down, which I don't think is a bad thing. Listen, if we're talking about that one particular thing in this game, we really don't have a problem.
Yeah,
I would just say that because, like I said, NHL 18, people could talk about what the hell they want to talk about EA Sports titles. That one game right there has been done right. And I used to like NHL 2K. NHL 2K5 And to me, it's still probably one of the best hockey games ever. But NHL 18, I haven't messed with 15, 16, or 17. But 18, I love that game. I think that everything about that game was done completely right. It's to the point where with 19, all the things that you're saying about is just adding on to the greatness, kind of like MLB.
Oh no, definitely.
It's like MLB The Show. They're adding on to greatness. They're not fixing stuff like with Madden, like Live, like 2K. They still have to fix stuff from their past titles. NHL does not have that problem. And what more could you ask for if you got that issue? If that's your problem, you technically don't have a problem.
And that's the thing. I wish that we had that in other games as far as people complaining about a legitimate, mechanic that they're being punished for. For example, in 2K, it would be great in 2K if people who over dribble, if they lost the ball.
You mean how it was like back in Live 10?
Live 10,
or like
NBA 2K11.
Yeah, NBA 2K11, NBA 2K7, NBA 2K. Yeah. Back
I
then.
would love to see that. Or they throw a pass.
College Hoops 2K8.
College Hoops 2K8 too. Or they throw a pass to the sidelines and they try to cheese, throwing the long court pass and it keeps getting overthrown.
Oh,
they can't run in place like they do. Like, man, those are the things
College Hoops 2K8 is notorious for that. You think you got a fast break. The pass is not only you could throw bounce or overhead or chest passes, those passes were pressure sensitive. So you had to press the button at a right amount of pressure or you're going to overthrow the ball.
Yeah, so I wish that more games had that because what it shows that they're doing something right.
Right.
People need to be punished for not being able to figure out how far they are from the defensive player when they're trying to do all these dribble moves. Instead of the ball going through their body, make them turn the ball over until they learn that you can't dribble the ball in somebody's face.
Well, not only that, I think Live 10 had it perfect, and NCAA Basketball 10 had it perfect. The longer you try to size up somebody, the easier you are to get ripped.
Of course.
I think that was we can talk about this another day, and I may do this on a separate video, or we might do a podcast mini. I want to break down Live 10 mechanics. I've been playing that franchise mode for the past, year or so. Mm-hmm. That game is done very well, and most of the stuff, you know what? It's that word that we don't want to hear. Most of that stuff in that game is contextual, and it works perfectly. But we'll talk about why at a later time.
Yeah, so all in all, NHL 19 I expect to be maybe the best sports game that comes out this year, which is a big statement. Statement.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, there are a lot of sports games coming out.
That's true, but if you look at a game like NHL 18 and you look at MLB The Show 18, everything else is under those two. That's how I feel in my opinion.
But remember, MLB The Show did come out this year too, so that means that you got to lump that in as well.
That's what I'm saying. Between MLB The Show 18 and NHL 19. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying now. I think outside of those two,
like this calendar
year. Yeah, that those two are the top tier. Everything else under that is just, they're the second tier, and you may could probably split with PES and FIFA because I don't know how those games play, but everything else is second tier to those two, in my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I see NHL 19. We can move into NBA Live 19, which isn't really going to be.
You sure you want to talk about Live 19 because we got a good segue to that one. You want to go to 2K first and go to Live because Live got a good segue after we talk about the game.
Oh shit! Yeah, you got a point. So we'll talk about NBA 2K19. Now, granted, we can't
talk about it. It ain't show shit.
Right? They we got to wait till September. So
like 2 days before it released, where you can see something.
Because according to Ronnie 2K, like we're gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah. Like he said about NBA 2K17, and I did a video about that, and all of a sudden he unfollowed me. The Czar unfollowed me. I think a couple other people unfollowed me that was a part of 2K. I think LD2K unfollowed me. The only person that's still around is OG. He really didn't care about what I had to say.
Ronnie 2K is a chump. But anyway, um, so we can't talk too much about the game from that aspect. I can only go from some of the hands-on impressions that I got from people I trust in the 2K community,
You mean
such
like
as
that 84-point debacle?
oh shit,
I
that
mean,
that was that
you can go first if you want to, but I'm gonna
that
give
was
you.
a slap in the face. We can talk about that for a second. That was a slap in the face of this entire NBA 2K league shit that they're trying to do.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. I have nothing else to say about NBA 2K19. I would not be surprised if this game is just absolutely bombs and is absolutely terrible because first of all, you saw the 84-point debacle, which you'll get into shortly because I didn't even watch the whole video.
Uh
Second
huh.
of all, they claimed that they got rid of the rampant blow bys, but from what I saw NBA 2K12 and NBA 2K13 all over it. Well, especially NBA 2K12. I saw that all over again where players were shifting into place to stay in front of the characters.
Mm.
I don't have time for that. If they have that in the game, I know. And don't get me wrong. I paid $35 for the game. I got it for cheap, but you know, I couldn't help it. But if that's the case, I would not be buying. I would not be playing the game at all. You know, I just won't. I mean, I couldn't pass up on the $35, which you know, for the most part, all intents and purposes, 2K basketball is good enough to warrant a $35 purchase. But then at the same time, when shit like this goes down, it's like for the casual person who don't want to buy this game or who wants to buy the game, they have to deal with that shit. They're probably going to buy it live.
And see, that's the thing. From my perspective, and I'm sure your perspective too, we use sliders to fix a lot of things in the game, but there are certain things that, for example, last year you couldn't really fix, like the
No,
on-ball defense.
no, it's just it's not necessarily just the on-ball defense. It's the clipping in the game.
Well, the
You
clipping,
you
yeah,
you
clipping in
can fix
general is a big thing.
you can fix on-ball defense because the players are going to react if you fix the sliders. But you can't do nothing if the players are still going through each other. There's no slider for that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that we use sliders to fix our games, but we can't fix the unfixable. You know?
hmm
I mean, they might play it right to the T, like the way they're supposed to in real basketball. But if the players are going through each other, it doesn't matter if you know if they're playing and got the right position.
right. But that's what I'm saying is a lot of the clipping was coming in with those shove animations, uh, the blow by animations. A lot of the clipping would come from that, and a lot of the sliding would come from that. And at least from what I've seen, they've put the tools in the game as far as the contact animations where I can probably do something with it. But at the same time, the sliding that you're talking about into place is something that should worry people who play online. Because while you do want the on-ball defense fixed, not at the expense of the integrity of the game.
Right, and this is what I'm saying. That may be an online issue. That is very well true. It
Yeah.
may be an online issue, but when I saw it, I was really concerned. I was like, wow, you know, but you know, like I said, we do play offline. We do play our own games, so it may be different for us, you
hmm
know, and I'm almost probably about 90% the true that I'm probably about 90 to 95% correct where that may be an online issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're like the minority. I want these games to be good for everybody, and that's some BS if that's happening over there.
Nah, most definitely because that's not a good look for your sim game that you're obviously trying to bring into the esports fold
Oh God, esports.
when well, that's where everybody's game is trying to make it to because they're trying to secure that bet.
Man, esports is good for those real time strategy games like Dota and
Mm-hmm.
all those Dungeons and Dragon games. Like the first person shooters that actually use teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's what esports is really good for. I mean, I've seen people play like what's that game called? Counter Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect game. Insurgency. Perfect game. Hell, you can even put Battlefield on there if you're playing Rush.
Right.
Perfect esports game. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you're trying to do these basketball games and you see all these people cheesing just to get by. It's kind of like how the Madden tournament is. It's like I get it, y'all make money off of it, but it's like y'all not playing football out there. Y'all are just exploiting you're exploiting the sport of football just to make money. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because you got to make money to feed your family, but it's like why like this NBA Playgrounds thing that's made by 2K. I mean, 2K picked up NBA Playgrounds. That park stuff that's in NBA 2K, they could just put all that over there now, and just keep NBA 2K an authentic simulation game. I don't see why not.
Well, you already know what I was gonna say about that playgrounds thing. What they're basically doing with that is they're gonna just basically take half of those players that were free and they're gonna make them DLC.
Well, that's a whole nother topic. I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not.
Well, I'm saying that's pretty much what playgrounds are gonna be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because they were free in the first game, but I
Yep.
already know, and I'm not even getting into that.
Especially if they get Kobe and MJ on that game.
They already got licensed to Jordan, so he's gonna be there.
Yep. So that's where that's going. I mean, they're gonna have some type of creative player modes probably, and
Man,
you're gonna be able to up your guys' stat. It's gonna be like my career arcade style.
Just give me a OG NBA Jam type game. That's all I want. I don't need all this.
That's
extra
all
shit.
they need to do. 2K gameplay wise can take this game to another level, but save that DLC shit.
Yeah, you could give me a NBA Jam type or NBA Street type. I'm good, and just leave it over there and let us give out a simulation game. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you got to add to NBA 2K? I got a feeling that this game may not be as good as the previous NBA 2Ks. I mean, they have the pedigree to make a phenomenal basketball game. It's just some things that just come up short, and it's sometimes almost game breaking.
I think that NBA 2K is gonna have to really show me something for me to purchase it day one, or purchase it at all. When you got another game on its heels, when they actually concentrate on things that people like us care about, they put out a really good game. When you have a game like that on the other side, which we're about to talk about, then it makes it hard for me to really care about 2K.
I mean, like I said, I got bit by the PC bug, and if you got a PC, you would know how this goes. You see a cheap game, you're gonna pick it up. I bought NBA 2K19. I bought it for $35. I personally, even with the problems with 2K, I don't think that's a bad deal. But there's no way I would have bought this at $65 or $60 right now. I wouldn't have bought it. Just the sort of simple fact it was that dirt cheap at the time. But I don't recommend it. But when you have people who have PCs, look, me, Izzy, like 4 other people who saw that deal, we picked up on it because with the problems, $35, we're not really missing out on nothing. That's almost half the price.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys out there look, most people do it anyway. But I never recommend buying a game without seeing gameplay. I really don't. Unless if you get the game for dirt cheap like I did. As far as my expectations, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it bombs. I'll probably, if that sliding into place is still there, and if they have a little bit more problems with the game, I could see this game being a 6. Seriously.
Gameplay wise?
Yeah. If the gameplay, you got players shifting into place on defense.
With sliders, or you mean
no? Just
out the box.
Out the box. Yeah, I can see this game being
a 6
on a simulation level. I can see that. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but you said Madden was gonna be a 9 though.
But let's be honest. We played the beta and we saw what we saw. What really glaring issue that we see in Madden as of right now?
I think 2K on its simulation foundation alone, minus the shifting. Not even minus the shifting. With the shifting, it got to be probably an 8, bro.
Ooh.
Because okay, here's the thing. You're not gonna see now if the shifting's like 2K13, where you see it every play. Then
I'm saying you don't have to explain because back then, even with 2K12, 2K13, even with the shifting in that game, and 13 you couldn't block dunks. That game was still like a solid 8.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you might be right.
Because they just have a lot of stuff in that game that.
It's just the small things that kind of ruin it. But overall, I think you're right.
Right, and then once you add sliders, obviously it's gonna be even better. But out the box, I'd probably say 7.5, 8.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's jump into this NBA Live. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Man, you can take it away.
All right, NBA Live 19, man. It looks pretty good, man. I can't front. It looks like a good game. I see that.
Keyword looks.
Yeah, it looks good. Even in motion, it looks good. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of wary of it because 18 did turn out to be a pretty good game overall. I think it was a good game, and it's just that I think their focus on Live 19 is kind of away from what the traditional NBA Live was. The
Mm-hmm.
traditional NBA Live was trying to give you an NBA experience. And it's not taking nothing away from the WNBA because that's something extra that we will get into shortly. I'm just talking about when you are playing NBA Live, you felt that you were playing you felt like you were playing in the league of the NBA. No matter if it was a play now game, no matter if it was a season game, no matter if it was a franchise game, even when it,
I'm
you all right?
good. I'm just going
Oh, okay. Just make sure.
to
Um, even when they had the FIBA World Championship, you felt like you were playing in that atmosphere.
hmm
They kind of got away from that. I noticed that they got away from it pretty much ever since they came back with Live 14. Don't get me wrong, Live 14 and 15 did feel like you were playing in the NBA,
hmm
but it's like slowly but surely they started getting to the my player thing, and they started doing the one thing and playing on these black tops,
hmm
and it's nothing wrong with that because I think that there's a market for that and they do it very well. But the NBA Live series as a whole is getting away from the actual NBA. You go back and play Live 10, that game, and I think they still have it in live, where the atmosphere of the crowd, the season atmosphere, the playoff atmosphere, the NBA Finals, it felt like you were there, and they did a good job of that.
Right.
But like now, it's like they're shifting away from the NBA simulation aspect of what made live great to we're going to start give you a more of a street ball, play on the street, play at the beach, play in front of a homegrown crowd,
hmm
and it's more of a street ball mentality. I think they're starting to change their identity a bit, and it's getting to the point where I'm not even going to take it serious as an NBA simulation because I don't think it's doing it themselves. Um, I think the game in general, as a basketball game, this game could easily be a 10, like a perfect basketball game. But when you're looking at an NBA simulation, this game could, like I said, and this game could be possibly a 5 or 6 because they're not even trying to put themselves out there as that type of game. So, and it's not because of the bad gameplay, but we talk about games on a pure, authentic replication of the sport type level. But when you see like 70% of the game is based on street ball stuff, how could you give it the replication of the sport, you
hmm
know, how could you give it the replication of the sport critique? Because it's not doing it themselves. What do you think?
I only got 2 words, and it's franchise mode.
I'm not even going there. I,
I am, I am, because you already know that we're on the same page as far as this is concerned. I've
stop,
heard.
stop. No, stop right there before you even go there.
hmm
I'm going to put that link in the description to that article that WTFOS put out for about franchise mode and live. If you have not read that, please read that article. That article is amazing. It's Have you read it?
No.
I'm gonna have to send you that. That is a beautiful article about NBA Live in franchise mode. It's a must read. I'm gonna put it in the description. Take your time and read it. It's a must read. Go
hmm
ahead, Bills.
Yeah, we've heard nothing, and it is it's a bit worrying. I I I really don't. This game, I told you this. I told DJ this. I enjoy playing NBA Live 18 at times more than playing 2K because the ball tangibility is there, the on-ball defense is there, the pacing of the game is a bit better. 2K obviously is the more complete game. They have the freelance sets, more animations, etc., etc. I understand that. But Live 19, if they had a franchise mode that I could dig my teeth into and actually care about, I would play that game so much and it would be an automatic purchase for me. But I've heard nothing. They've said nothing about franchise mode.
I think this may be a situation where me and you buy live and we do what we did on Live 16.
bro.
We just create our players and just go straight street ball. Cause I mean
That's yeah.
I don't see nothing in live that can honestly say like, okay, you're getting a basketball simulation. Franchise mode has not even been talked about. I sent you the link. I think I sent it to your phone. That article is excellent. You really need to
Yep, I
listen.
found it.
Yeah, you really need to read that. And everybody else, if you're listening to this podcast, excuse me, take the
Mm,
time and read that article. It is an amazing article about franchise mode,
right.
and it's just lackluster. They haven't even talked about it in live, and that's what worries me. It's not that because it's a bad game. I just think that NBA Live is just changing their identity to where it's going to be NBA players playing street ball, and I don't think nothing is wrong with that. But once you do that, I think we just stop looking at it as a simulation. I think that's fair. Do you think?
Yeah, because I mean, it's at the point where I understand that there's only close to, well, I should say, I understand there's still a month left, about a little bit over a month before the game comes out, but still, it's like we've heard nothing about a mode that has gone untouched for
Oh, God, since Live 14.
Live 14.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go into the NBA Live franchise from Live 18, okay, when you get to the front page, it looks nice. They got your players standing in a line like the starters or whatever. It's cool. But there's a couple of things missing. The first thing being edit player.
Oh, God.
It's not in there. Not,
Somebody told me I need to just trade everybody and just start a franchise.
I saw that. I saw that.
Oh, God.
It took everything in my power not to rash that guy. But
I should have blocked them just because.
but it's like but
Just block. No response. Just block.
it's like I'm looking at this franchise mode and I'm like, damn, if y'all had edit player, I might actually not care about anything else in franchise mode that y'all need to add. I might just play just because y'all have edit player and I can trade everybody I want to trade. As long as y'all had those things in and I can change the numbers once they get traded, all that would be great.
Right.
You could not add all the glitz and I'd still play it. I wouldn't play it as much as 2K's franchise, but I would play it.
Let me tell you something.
But it's unplayable.
Sometimes less is more, and I'm not knocking NBA 2K or my league. That is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Between that and MLB The Show, their whole mechanism behind franchise mode is probably the best. But with live, and live been doing this very well for a long time. I'm talking about way back the PS2 days.
Uh-huh.
They give you basic things you need to do to improve your team, and it's not nothing elaborate. It's nothing like you got to go way out of the way to do, but it works. It's like, okay, with Live 10, for example, you have to do training in the middle of the season, and I've seen no other game do this. They don't like NBA 2K. They do it, but it's all based on what you see on the screen.
Right.
Live used to let you do, okay, we're going to have a practice, kind of like how it was in my player. You go to practice and you go to each coach, and each coach has a different drill for y'all to do.
Mm-hmm.
Live 10 did that. That was phenomenal. Like, you can do the fast break. You can do a 5-on-5 scrimmage. You can work on your free throws. You can work on the pick and roll. You can work on offensive and defensive rebounding. That's fundamental shit.
Right.
That is beautiful, fundamental shit that was in Live 10, and I don't know why in the world, not even 2K. I don't even know why 2K didn't even pick up on it yet. Because when you do the My Player on 2K, they give you a random drill that you got to do. You don't get you have your little shoot around, but you don't get to go to coaches and say, hey, coach, I want to work on my dribbling. And then you do your dribbling, or I want to work on my free throws. Live 10 had that. That's why Live 10 franchise mode is so good. And it was so basic, but it was so progressive. It was like you felt like you were doing something even with the little bit of options you had. Like, you can work on, like, with me, I'm going to tell you what I did on this franchise mode for Live 10. I play with the Bulls, and I was playing with Derrick Rose the year that before he became the MVP.
Yep.
What I did was I traded bum-ass Kirk Heinrich and Luol Deng. I traded them to the Houston Rockets, and I got Tracy McGrady. So what I got now, I have two guys who career could have been something really nice if it wasn't for injuries. And I'm rewriting history by trying to win a championship with those two guys. I mean, you can't make it up any better than that, but that's a different story for another day. But I am constantly trying to push Derrick Rose to be better by going through these drills. And they
Right.
work. Like Live 18, Live 16, 15, they don't have that. You know what I'm saying? 2K, they don't have that. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not a knock on NBA 2K My League because my league have my GM and my league have so much other stuff that's in it that's just beautiful. But just that one thing right there make you feel like you really have control of your players and your team, and it makes it feel like you're building something, and that's what franchise mode is all about. And like you was
Yeah.
talking about, just like you was talking about with NBA Live, they're not even talking about it, man. They're just not. I don't know what to say. You got anything else to add to that?
No, what I would say about the franchise mode is I was talking to DJ about this,
Shout out to
and
DJs. He's under D. Yeah, shout out DJ.
yeah, shout out to DJ. He was a little bit tired this morning. I mean, not this morning. Today he had a party that he went to, so he wasn't really feeling up to it. He got to work tonight, so it's understandable. But yeah, I was talking to DJ, and I was like, why don't they do this? How about if my guy is struggling in the shooting department? How about I stay after practice and put up such and such a number of shots? And based on his rating, you give me a threshold that I have to meet, a goal that I have to meet as far as how many shots I got to make. And then he'll increase
That's
his
all.
shooting.
That's all in my player though. That's in NBA 2K.
Exactly.
That's in
And
NBA
that's
2K.
what I was telling him.
Yeah, that's in NBA 2K in my player.
Yeah.
They kind of have that in NBA Live 10, but it's not like you just shoot. You have to run the drills, and running those drills is basically it helps the team overall, but it helps the individual player that you're controlling. I mean, it's beautiful, man. It's like that's the type of stuff. Like even with Madden, when Madden had the weekly drills, they were cool, but at the end, you just gave a guy a bunch of XP, and I don't care what nobody said. That XP stuff in Madden is bullshit. They need to get rid of that shit. But that's another topic for
Well,
another day.
they fixed it this year.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not saying that they didn't, but
I'm saying the setup of it.
Okay.
Like the problem that you had with it they kind of basically what they did was they kind of they tethered it towards how you wanted it to be. So basically, based on their archetype, that's how they will upgrade.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand that, but it's just those type of things. Like it makes you feel like I'm running this team. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, NBA 2K, they do that within the GM mode where you're doing the concessions and you're doing the type of the health stuff so your players don't get injured or don't get hurt or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I get all of that. I mean, that's a part of it. That's cool. But it's like it was just something about Live 10, and it's like same thing like NCAA 14. It's something about those games where you felt tangible to the to the players on your team.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to really feel that in these current generation sports titles. I think the closest one I felt that to, I felt a little bit of that in NHL. And I haven't even felt that MLB The Show, but it's just MLB The Show just plays like baseball so well you don't even think about it.
FIFA has it
Okay.
down pat. They have a lot of immersion aspects that these games could add. For example, new signings to certain teams, not certain teams, but like pretty much like the big teams in your league that you're playing in. Right. They'll show on the front page. They'll actually show that guy at the press conference introducing him, holding his jersey up, little things like that. Right. So that's really immersive. They've always had a really good manager mode though.
Yeah.
So I was talking to DJ about other stuff, but see the thing with 2K is I'm talking about stuff that's like advanced stuff compared to Live. Live doesn't even have the basics. 2K, I was talking to DJ about shit like fake advertisements, fake ads, halftime shows that show you highlights of other games. I was talking about live look-ins at other games, things like that. Like that's what I was talking.
See, Live have a good halftime show, but it's based on that one game and it's based on the ESPN presentation, which is fine. But when you look at, and I hate to even do this, but when you go all the way back to NFL 2K5, I mean they gave you live look-ins to those games. You look at College Hoops 2K8.
They had a weekly show.
Yeah, they had a weekly show. They give you live look-ins to these games on top of weekly. You look at, we could talk about EA. Look at
Yeah.
Madden 10 when they had the extra point show. They had live look-ins to other games. You
Hmm.
know, that's the type of stuff. It's like, wow, we need that.
And here's another thing. I can say this about Madden that you can't say about 2K. Very few things you can't say about 2K that you can't say about Madden. But Madden actually talks about scores in games that are going on during your franchise. 2K needs to add that too.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, no, I ain't gonna say they got away from it. I don't think they ever did it. Even with Dan Stevens and Peter O'Keefe, they didn't
Mm,
even do it back then. I mean, that's one thing I like about Madden's new commentary team. They're able
It's
to do
amazing.
that. Yeah,
Best
that
best best in any sports game right now.
yeah, they've done a phenomenal job. But like, don't get me wrong, I love Dan Stevens. I love Peter O'Keefe. Some of the best commentating I've ever heard on 2K5 or even 2K8.
Uh-huh.
But with the technology changing and with Madden's able to do that with the new technology, it beats them. And it's not just because they're necessarily better. It's just that they can take it to another level.
Yep.
You know, and like I said, right now it is the best, hands down. So,
And then you got Madden adding other things that are definitely immersive, like the backgrounds, where you can take screenshots during games, and they'll be on the TV if you're controlling the coach in the background. You got other things like, um, for example, they have it where, like I said, they'll talk about other games during the game that you're playing. They'll also talk. They'll also have this thing where in the first quarter they'll talk about a guy needing to have a big game, and then they'll go and they'll pick it up in the third quarter and say, well, so we talked about him needing to have a big game, and they'll say where he's at and things like that. That's immersive. That's immersive. Excuse me.
right, right,
It's one of those things where you see that in real life. You know what I'm saying? They'll
absolutely.
say that this running back needs to have a big game. He's been struggling lately, and then they'll check back later and they'll talk about whether he's come through or not on that. So those are the things that need to make it into these other games because it makes you feel like you're playing in a living environment. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Shout out to Regular Dave. He made a video about how YouTube ruined the sports game, and I made a response to it. When we were growing up, when we played these games, we felt like we was in a different world. We felt like that was our world. We felt like it felt like the game was a living, breathing thing that we were controlling, and that's what franchise mode is supposed to be. It's supposed to be somewhere where we felt like this is something that we can make change if we do it the right way. If we make our players be better, if we push for it, we can do our best and see if we can make it happen. And when we do make it happen, it just makes it more satisfying. When like I said, I'm trying to turn the 2010 Derrick Rose and the 2010 Tracy McGrady. I'm trying to push those guys in NBA Live 10 to win a championship together. These are
Hmm.
two guys who are like fallen stars, and if I could rewrite history and push the way, if I try my best and play this game the best of my ability, and if I can make it happen,
Hmm.
that's the satisfaction you get from playing a franchise mode game. But like now, everybody just want to play now. They want to beat the person that's on the other side of the internet. They want to play, a quick fix. And like I said, I think this is like the microwave generation where they just want something right now. They don't want to grind like you're supposed to grind in real life for a championship or grind real hard in sports. Because if you play sports in real life, it's not a microwave fix. You got to work hard for it.
And that's what's crazy is when we look online and we look on Twitter, we don't see a lot of people talking the same way we do as far as like, I'm looking at this team in real life and what they have, and I would like to rebuild that team in Madden. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
They want to take the Warriors, or I
Oh,
guess in football terms, they want to take the Eagles and the Rams, and they want to go online and whoop somebody's ass and then be like, yeah, look at me. But and
there's
that's
a
fine,
yeah, yeah. It's cool because you're having fun, and there's nothing
right?
wrong with that. But then again, you're pushing a narrative to these companies that it's okay to be quote unquote sim, not real simulation, or
Yep.
not even close to being a simulation.
And
And,
it paints the picture that people don't care about franchise, which could be the furthest thing from the truth when you really dig into some of the analytics of who plays franchise,
yeah,
who
like
plays mud, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah, somebody sent me something on Twitter saying over 60% of gamers that play Madden actually play franchise mode.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that was kind of that was actually surprising because I didn't think there would be that many because I thought most people just would play like a little casual play now or Madden Ultimate Team. But it is good to know that, and I hope that we continue to get that push for it to be a better franchise. But like I said, we won't know until we get the game later on this week. And overall, gameplay wise, what do you think NBA Live is going to be like? Personally, I think it's going to be really good.
Based on what I've seen, I think it's going to be amazing. They're only adding on to what they had last year, especially with the signature animations and RPM. It's good.
Right.
It's going to be crazy, man. I mean, because I enjoyed last year's, and obviously I had a slider set because I have a slider set in pretty much every game. But I think it's going to be really good. It looked really good. They're adding the ability for superstars to take over, and they're having all this talk about signature personalities and things like that. So I think it's gonna be really good.
I mean, I
I just
think
hope we're not stuck in play now and creating our guy and going online. Because I mean, while that's cool, it's not what I really want to do.
right. I mean, yeah. It's something I'll probably dwell into every now and then. But the majority of my time, I want to like take a bad team and try to win. Like my
Yeah.
Bulls, my Bulls are like the average age of that team is like 24 or something like that. I want
Mm-hmm.
to take that team and build them into something.
All
There's a
right.
reason why I played with the Georgia Southern Eagles on my NCAA 14 franchise. I want to turn them into a powerhouse. Some people just don't know how satisfying that is to actually take a team that was lower tier and make them to at least a medium tier team. That's an accomplishment.
Right.
But I think overall, I think live is when you're talking about it in a simulation type sport aspect, it's probably going to be its own demise to the point where I may not be able to give it no more than a 7 because they're not even taking themselves as serious as that type of game. Now, if you're talking about just a basic basketball game, this game has every aspect to be a perfect game because it's giving you that street ball mentality and it giving you a mechanism to play across the world and different courts and make your own court and the game has its own identity. It has its own character. So with that being said, it could be a 10 on that level. But if you're telling me that, hey, get this game because you can play just like you can play in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
you can kick rocks. The game is not even taking itself that serious.
Right.
Now we want to talk about another thing that's been pretty much jumping. It's been jumping to the highest marks on social media this week. Female characters in NBA Live. Now, we talked about this in 18 and it was cool,
Mm-hmm.
but they took it to another level. You could
Yep.
create a female character in NBA Live 19,
Mm-hmm.
and from what I hear, that you're going to be able to dunk just like the men and do all this other crazy stuff like the men do. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing wrong with females playing basketball. They play basketball very well. You can make a case where female players play basketball more fundamentally sound than the men.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of Brittany Griner, which I'm not even going to go into that joke. I'm not going to go into that joke. Outside of Brittany Griner and a few other women that's in the NBA, I shouldn't really seeing them dunk,
At all.
let alone dunk on somebody.
Bruh, the picture they got for Brittany Griner says enough. Homegirl's like she's out here leaning in like MJ.
Like
On a-
like a decent Karl Malone or something.
Bruh. Oh fuck that guy.
Nah,
But
that's why I said that.
but, but no, like yo, she's like hanging in the air and oh my god. Like y'all don't get it. See, people think that we're just being Debbie Downers. Like we're just, oh, well, when you create a player on NBA Live, you can't dunk like that in real life. You want to know the difference? Men can dunk like that in NBA Live.
And this is not a knock on women. This is just
It's
truth.
not. It's just fact, bro. It's not. It's not like we're trying to discriminate or down on women because I love the WNBA. I was watching the WNBA All Star game before. You know what I didn't see? Somebody hanging with their head at the rim dunking the ball. And those are the best female athletes in the world playing basketball.
Right.
So it's funny how all of a sudden it's a video game. Oh, it's a video game.
See, this is another reason why I can't take live serious on a simulation level. You got their own fans not even wanting to do it. How could you compete with NBA 2K which all intents and purposes, you can talk about their problems. NBA 2K is trying to push a simulation game hands down.
Yep.
There's no denying about that. They may have their issues with achieving that, but there's no denying that you're trying to play something that replicates the sport over there.
Right. So when somebody, now all of a sudden, people want realism, but only to a limit. After they get to a certain point, it's a video game. Nah,
man, they talking about ladies could dunk between the legs,
bro.
Now listen, you can make a female character. You know what? Listen to this, Bills. You can make a female character on NBA Street, and even then, the dunks on that made sense because it's NBA Street, and even then, the female characters were somewhat limited to what dunks they can do.
Of course.
But that's an arcade game. Why would you even try to put that in NBA Live? That's your own title that you're trying to defy. You're trying to defy logic, which some people may think that's weird. You're trying to defy logic on a simulation type game. You're defying the logic furthermore than a street game that actually has the name NBA Street in it.
And that's what's going to take away the immersion is these female players are going to be out there with these male players dunking on these male players that have 90 whatever vertical and 90 whatever dunk and 90 whatever this.
What?
And it's not even like I said, I love women's basketball, but I like women's basketball
because
to be women's basketball.
You love women's basketball because it's women's basketball.
Right. Like so for people who think I'm inconsistent, let's go back to the conversation me and VF had last year when we were talking about Brittany Griner dunking on other female athletes within the WNBA mode and saying, I don't want to play the WNBA mode if she's dunking like that.
We don't want nobody too dominant. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no problem with her doing the little, what you call it? The little small little dunk. What's it called?
Rim grazer.
Yeah, the rim grazer. Man, I can't believe I got that wrong. I have no problem with the rim grazer. I have no problem. I don't even have a problem with her on a fast break doing a more elaborate dunk on a fast break. But for her to just come down the baseline and just wham on somebody, now that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, if I'm gonna, it's like, okay, in FIFA, they put the women's national teams. You could see a clear difference between the women and the men, and that's why I liked playing with the women sometimes with the national teams because they seemed a bit more fundamental. They didn't use the athleticism nearly as much. None of them were really like blazing fast, but they were very technical. It's the same with the WNBA.
Yeah.
What's the point of me playing with the WNBA players if I could dunk like the NBA players?
Okay, Zach LaVine has what? Let's just give out a number. He has like what, a 95,
90,
like a 95, 97 vertical?
Yeah.
Okay, if a female also had that 95, 97 vertical, it still should be a big gap between the two.
And also, what's the point in creating a female player if you're going to dunk like a guy?
Just make a guy player.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people, whoa, they're a girl. You're missing my point here.
Well, actually, you're making the point. It's like you're making the point.
It's just, I don't know, man. All I can do is explain it like I just explained it. If I'm playing with the WNBA teams, I don't want to be dunking like that because that's not what I see when I watch the WNBA. When I watch females play basketball, I don't see them dunking, doing back scratchers and windmills, throwing the ball off the backboard to themselves. You don't see that.
You know what I expect out of a female player in NBA Live, honestly?
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to have a better layup rating than the guys. I'm talking about like overall in general.
Mm-hmm.
I expect the females have a better layup rating than the guys. I expect them, in some cases, probably have better dribbling.
Yep.
And I also expect them to have a better mid-range game because that's basically what they do in their games.
Yeah.
Basically, the females in WNBA have probably the best higher-rated mid-range game out of both of the sports. Because, I mean, we could be honest, in the NBA, most guys, they really can't shoot anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, they really can't shoot consistently anymore.
90% of the ratings for mid-range in 2K should be like 70 and below.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, most guys can't really shoot in the NBA anymore. It's either layups or three-pointers. The mid-range game, outside of like a few, like we talked about before, like DeMar DeRozan, he has an excellent mid-range game. You have a few others that are like that. But for the most part, most guys in the NBA don't. They don't even. You can make a case for some of them don't even practice a mid-range game like they used to. But in the WNBA, they have to thrive off that. So I expect them to be a little bit higher.
You know what's funny? You brought up the WNBA players from I think which NBA street was that?
NBA Street Volume 2.
Was it? No, it wasn't. They weren't.
They,
Nah, they were on the one that you
they,
hate.
they was on the first one too. I know that.
But they were on the one that you hate. They weren't on two.
Oh, you said WNBA players.
Yeah, WNBA players.
Oh, they had to be on Homecoming or 3 because I didn't play too much of those two.
I think Homecoming.
Yeah.
So I was so crazy about them not dunking that if you didn't hold turbo, they would just lay the ball up. That's what I did every time.
Well, I mean, not only that, like, and sometimes in NBA Street, if they did try to dunk, sometimes they would just miss.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny, that's a street game, and they had that realism in the street game.
Right. It's like for me, I was like, I want to play with these WNBA players, but I want it to be realistic. Even though it's a street ball game, this is the closest I'm gonna get to playing with WNBA players. But they ain't about to be dunking all over the place.
Yeah, but even in a street game, that's realistic for a female to be laying up.
Right. So to go back to our point, and once again, me and DJ talk a lot. We talk about this all the time with the WNBA players. Their builds, their shoulders were a bit too burly. They didn't really have the body types that you would see a Maya Moore or a Deladon have. The animations were no different from the male animations as far as layups are concerned. Anybody who watches the WNBA would know that the animations are different. I mean, not the animation. The way they lay the ball up is different. The way they shoot the ball is different. The way they run is different. And NBA Live doesn't even have to do the running part, but the animations for layups, they should have different animations. And as far as, yeah.
And not only that, and the frequency of them making those shots should be higher than the men because their game lives off of the mid-range game and the layups.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are some females that can shoot threes absolutely in WNBA. They're lights out.
Yeah.
But for the majority of them, they should have a higher frequency of making those mid-range shots and layups.
And their passing rating should be high too.
Yeah, that too.
All a lot more.
It's like damn near every female in the WNBA can pass very well.
Right.
I mean, you got a few guys that are point guards in the NBA, and some guys that play in other positions they're known for their passing, but it's like essential in the WNBA. You have to know how to do those things.
Yeah, so I think the rating should be weighted differently. Like you said, Zach LaVine's 97 shouldn't be the same as Brittany Griner's 97 or Maya Moore's 97. Right. That's just not how it should be because it just doesn't make sense when you play basketball. I'm not about to go to whatever they called it. One.
Here's another perfect example before you get into that. Steph Curry 3-point rating is probably what, 98, 97? If a female has a 98, 97, we know damn well she doesn't shoot threes as well as Steph Curry.
Yep.
Absolutely, we know that. We know that she don't. So they cannot be the same.
That's what I'm saying. They should, and it's like it's not even that I'm saying separate the men and the women when you're playing online or in that single player mode. But what I'm saying is
just keep it honest.
I mean, but honestly, if you really want the female experience, the true female experience, you would separate them.
Yeah, that's true. As much people may get mad for you saying that, that is absolutely true.
I mean,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you separated the WNBA and the NBA. You don't see Maya Moore guarding Andrew Wiggins.
I think it's all fun and games for them to play street ball. I do get it. But like we said at the end of the day, these females just can't be dominating some of these guys.
No.
I mean, they just can't. I mean, there's some NBA players that are scrubs.
It takes the immersion out of it. You know what I'm saying? If they want to blow past somebody, okay, fine. Keep drilling threes in his face, fine.
I think a female player can blow by a guy in the NBA. I think that's, but just to body him up in the paint and dunk on him, no, that ain't.
It just that will take the immersion out of it.
Ankle breakers, I'm all for ankle breakers. I'm all for them stealing the ball from a guy.
Right.
Hey, hell, I'm even good with if they block a shot that a guy shoots. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But for them to just say, I'm about to back you down and put this post move on you, no.
Nah,
They're not about to do
it
that.
just that's not immersion. And I hate to do it, and I hate to compare the two games, but best believe if 2K had them in the game, they wouldn't be doing that shit.
Now that's one thing I can say about 2K. 2K has done this for a long time. The thing about 2K is they just have to get the execution right as far as the game mechanics,
Uh
like
huh.
the clipping and balls going through players and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like. But as far as ratings go,
Yeah.
2K had ratings down. Oh my god, since the Dreamcast.
Ratings and animations based on position.
Yeah, they had that down since the Dreamcast, and it's like the Dreamcast 2K2 they did it right. 2K7 they definitely did it right in 2K7, and 2K11 is another one I can think of that the ratings, the ratings pretty much mattered in every 2K game as far as I'm concerned. But those are the games that really point out that they really did them really well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, if the females was in that game, you can best believe that Brittany Griner, as strong as she is not about to go back down on Clint Capella. That is
Hell
not
no.
happening.
Hell no. I mean, less athletic dudes get their shit punched routinely on park and things like that. So I mean, they would do it right, and they would probably separate the two because they know that people want a legitimate women's basketball experience.
I ain't gonna lie. To be honest with you, if the females had their own park or whatever, that would be pretty interesting.
It would give me some type of
But that's what I said about
incentive to maybe make a female player.
yeah, and that's another thing that I was saying about what you call it. If they had a franchise mode, if WWE had a
That's what I'm
franchise,
saying.
that'd be awesome.
That's what, but and see that's the thing. If 2K did it, they would have waited until they could do it right, and they would have had the franchise mode in there the first year. They would have scanned all of their bodies as far as that's concerned, so they could look right in the game. So that's my thing. It's like it would give me an incentive to create a female player and a male player, and then go online and play. It would be two completely different experiences.
Now, let's bring it back one more time. Now, if
Hmm.
they did
Uh-huh.
have them to come together and play like a street ball, like female and males mixed,
Hmm.
I still don't have a problem with that. It's just that
No,
it just has to be realistic.
exactly.
It has to be on the realness. Like, okay, we know the female players can't do what the men do, so we don't expect them to be all pushing them around. Like, say for instance, if one of the female characters try to throw a pick,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Basically,
I'm
you would have to know what you were getting into if you brought a female player online.
yeah, and you
You
try
would
to
have to
throw
know you were getting into. It'd be no
you
different than going and playing in, the Drew League.
right. And
So
I can imagine if you can imagine the outrage somebody would get if a female tried to throw a pick in that game and they get ran over.
oh they be mad. They be throwing a fit. I'm
I'm like,
never
yo,
playing this
what,
game again.
what do you expect? I mean, you're gonna try to try to throw a pick, and you got LeBron James, and you have Donovan Mitchell trying to get around that pick.
Bro.
Yo, Donovan and Mitchell and LeBron's just gonna run them over. I mean, that's just who's a good pick dodger? Even Steph Curry, he's a good pick
Uh-huh.
dodger. Or Klay Thompson, they're gonna run over that female. I mean, that's just the
Patrick
fact.
Beverly.
That's just the fact. They're just gonna run them over. There's
And
nothing you can do about it.
I can't wait. I can't wait until one of these YouTubers puts up a video of them getting dunked on by one of these females, because they're talking all slick now. Hey, wait, maybe you're just scared to get dunked on by a female. Wait till it happens to you. You're gonna be saying this, that, and the third
They better
about
say
how unrealistic it is.
they better take it. They better make a video and they better be smiling the whole time. I don't want to hear no complaining. You
Bro.
need to be smiling the whole time and loving it. And get dunked on again. Do it. Shoot. I mean, I'm not even gonna risk it, man. I mean,
Oh.
like I said, I want to play the game, and like I said, we may do the live 16 thing again. We create our player and play on the street ball, but I don't know, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that because I'll get mad. I ain't gonna say I'm a rage or anything, but I will be highly upset to the point where, like, you know what? Just tell me everything I need to know about what direction live is going
It
in.
wouldn't look right, man.
It
And,
wouldn't.
and if they don't touch franchise, it's gonna look even worse.
I put it on Twitter the other day, earlier today, I think, or yesterday. I said I wouldn't be surprised if they finally touch franchise mode in Live 21. I'm not. I mean, that's just my opinion. Because I mean, that it's a runaway train. they're doing the street ball thing and like having a ball with it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because that what they're doing in that aspect is phenomenal. It looks great. But how could we, like I said from the beginning, how could we take you as serious as an NBA simulation when this is all you're pushing? You're leaving the franchise mode out in the cold. I don't even hear about FIBA World Champion no more. That used to be one of the highlights of lives, but they don't even talk about it no more. It's like it looks like it's going all street ball, and like I said, the game will probably be 10 as far as the game of basketball. But from as far as the simulation game, I'll probably put it below a 6, maybe a 5, because it's not because it's a bad game. It's because they're doing it to themselves that they're not even talking about the simulation aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are you going to rate it? That's like I'm going to rate a pork chop for being barbecue pork chop when it's being fried. How could you rate it as a barbecue pork chop when it's been fried?
And there has to be points taken off for the fact that these have been lingering issues that being franchised year in, year out. I know people are going to say, you can't base the rating last year. Well, yeah, I can because
it's the same thing.
It's the same shit.
It's the same mode. It's like right. It's untouched.
You have to get some points off for bringing the same mode as last year into the game this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we can touch on FIFA just a little bit. FIFA.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I know that's more like your thing, and I'll let you run it. I'll
right.
give my 2 cents where it needs to be.
FIFA looks good. The ball seems a lot more grounded. I'll just keep it quick. I don't know how many viewers we have that play it, but I'll just keep it quick. Like I said, the ball is a lot more grounded. It doesn't feel as bouncy as last year. It felt like you were playing more with a kickball than a soccer ball, so it was kind of weird. Yeah, it was weird.
Yo, we need a kickball simulation game.
I guarantee you this: they'll have a better franchise mode than live.
Man, keep going with man. Keep going with FIFA, man.
But oh my God!
So
all right,
hold on. What is going to be? It's going to be a bunch of 5th graders you got to pick from a draft class.
It's going to be like backyard kickball.
Yeah, backyard kickball 19, featuring Miss Stewart as your coach. She's your PE coach, so you get to use her as franchise mode.
I know, right?
I want Dylan, Bobby, and Joey as my captains.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You gotta have players be academically ineligible. You gotta have their parents pulling them out of the league and shit.
Yeah, Joey made a D, so he can't play today.
Oh my God!
You gotta replace him with Nerdy Billy, who can't catch.
You gotta have him training and like catching the ball and kicking and shit. They gotta have drills.
I can see this shit now being a Nintendo Switch game. I can see this shit being a Nintendo Switch game, and you gotta use those stupid ass Joy-Cons to kick the ball and shit.
We need to run and copyright this shit tomorrow.
Yeah,
I feel like a game is gonna come out.
Yeah, Nintendo can make this shit. It'll be like Nintendo presents Kickball 2019.
Do kids even play kickball anymore?
Man, they better. That's a damn good sport, bro. What happened to FIFA, man? What happened to FIFA?
Bro, fuck FIFA. I want to talk about this kickball game we making.
You can sell the rights to Nintendo. Sure.
Oh, yeah, yo, we make bank, yo. Damn kids right. Be like, we never even heard of this game before. This shit is fun.
Yeah, we played this yesterday in school. Mario would be the referee and shit.
Oh, Mario be the referee. Oh my God! But yeah, so FIFA.
I know, I got one more thing, bro.
God!
If you power up, you knock Billy glasses off when you're trying to run the first base.
Yo, they'll have traits and shit. So if you throw the ball, you'll be able to knock somebody's glasses off. You got like a hammer arm or some shit.
Yo, they have the weapon system.
Player archetype. This player specializes in knocking the glasses off of players that are running the first base. Oh my God.
This girl can't kick, but she looks so good. All the boys can't play because they're mesmerized.
Oh God! And then when they get the ball, when she kicks like some little rinky-dink kick, they don't throw the ball to first base.
Yeah, they be having like hearts coming from their head and shit because she's so pretty.
Bro, this game is already a 10. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I don't care. They need to make this damn game. We gonna get paid.
Oh man, Kickball 2019. Let's go.
Oh my god, Mario Kickball 2019. I would buy it. Shit.
Yeah, I'll buy it. And I don't even have a Switch. I'll
Oh
just support.
Jesus Christ.
Well, anyway, what happened with FIFA again?
I don't even remember. Man, all right, yeah. So FIFA, yeah, the ball's less bouncy. We got that part.
Yeah,
Graphically, it's a lot better. Which is saying a lot because last year the game looked really good.
yeah, it did.
They added UEFA, so that's cool. PES gave up that license, or FIFA bought it. Whatever happened. So that's gonna be pretty cool, I guess, if you're using one of the teams that are in the leagues that participate in UEFA, then that would be pretty cool. PES, on the other hand, PES is, I don't know, it's a conflicting one. One day they'll have a video come out with two players playing, and the shit'll look arcadey as hell. Then the next day they'll have a video come out where somebody's playing the CPU and it'll look great. Then the next day it's like I don't know what to think of this
They're
game.
basically all over the place.
I don't know what to think of this game. So when the demo comes out, I'm gonna try it and we'll see. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a purchase because PES is usually a pretty good game. I'm just always worried about the AI. You ain't never seen a cheesing ass computer until you play that computer on like Superstar.
Oh wow.
Bro, they cheese with those lofted through balls. They just kick the ball over your guy's head. Your keeper's a complete idiot. It's bad, but we'll see what happens with those two. But all in all, I think we're gonna get two really good soccer games this year for anybody who's interested in soccer.
Okay, okay. I mean,
Um,
I've always been interested. I just never. It's never been a game I played growing up. So I just look at it like, okay, that's cool. I maybe one day it'll catch on to me like it did with hockey. I mean, I never played hockey in my life, but I think the hockey games are phenomenal. I love the NHL 18, and I know I'm going like 19 as well. So that's pretty good insight you gave there, especially with with all the other things I didn't know about, and as well as the kickball aspect. Kickball is great.
I got a game for you though. I got a
What's
game
that?
for you. So me and DJ are both gonna purchase Fire Pro Wrestling,
Okay.
which is a game that it started out on mobile, I think, either
Yeah,
mobile or PC.
yeah. Fire Pro Wrestling's been around for a long time. That game started out way before then. This game used to be on Super Nintendo in Japan.
Yeah, so they have
It
a
probably came out.
great.
It probably came out before then. But
Oh
I'm
yeah,
with you on that. I'm with you on that. I've
oh
known
yeah,
about
it
this game.
came out a long time ago.
Yeah,
I have it on my
yeah, I've known about this game for almost 20, 30 years. I know about it.
right, yeah. They have a really great creation suite. If you were interested in making like wrestlers from your era that you watch wrestling, not only is it easy to do, but you could like run your own wrestling company. It
Hmm.
seems like something you'd be kind of interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked wrestling games. I mean, I have a Nintendo 64 with the old wrestling games. But in my opinion, the best wrestling games of all time was on Nintendo 64. There's no
And see, I
debate.
missed out, unfortunately.
Oh my God, no debate. Those games were the best wrestling games on N64. You can go sue your mama. I don't care. Great game. Those games are excellent. But I've always been into wrestling games even back then. I think once the game started to come to GameCube, I played a few of them on original Xbox. I kind of just drifted away from it. I kind of lost the interest of wrestling games, just like I got lost interest in actually watching wrestling. Because if you think about it, N64 was around the year 99, 2000, the Attitude Era. That's my wrestling. That's the wrestling that I remember watching. So
Right.
that's what I remember. Like everything after that, I'm kind of blind to it. Not saying that it's bad or nothing. It's just that I went to go play football and I was playing. I was in college, so I really didn't have time to watch it like I used to. But
But the
I
reason you might like it is because it's not like one of these arcade, like it's actually a simulation game.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
only that, but they have it where you could have all types of sorts like matches, like you could have like a death match, like a barbed wire death match. You could have a match with MMA rules, which I think is insane.
And this is on PS4, right?
Yep.
I think I may
Comes
go
out
pick that
August
up.
28th.
Yeah, I may have to go ahead and pre-order and pick that up. I think I'm gonna jump on that because I need something like that wrestling wise. Because like I said, I still play the one on N64, but
Mm-hmm.
I just need something new. I still have a WWE Raw on original Xbox, which is a pretty
Right.
decent game. But I do need to get into something like that. So I think that's something I'm going to pick up. I think I'm going to pick that up.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
And I think one sports title before we close out, one sports title that we didn't talk about, which we can't right now, and I'm really can't wait for we get more information on it. But trust me, when the information comes, you're definitely going to know about it. Mm-hmm. We need information on the Golf Club PGA Tour 2019.
Yes,
We
there was a
need
gameplay video, but we need more info.
Yeah, we need more info because Golf Club 2, that is an excellent game. Unfortunately, you just play the courses and you level up based on the courses you play. You don't necessarily play for a championship. There's no career mode, but we've been rest assured that this was going to have a career mode. And if this game is everything what they say it's going to be, it's going to be a phenomenal game, hands down.
I'll tell you, that Golf Club 2 is the hardest game I've ever played, man.
But it's satisfying at the same time.
It is.
Though.
Yeah,
It's not like hard, frustrating to the point where the game's messed up. You actually have to put in time to.
They don't hold your hand at all.
No, not at all. Now, see, Roy McIlroy held your hand, and you get.
Oh yeah, they could do everything with the spin and the
Yeah, no. Everything you did, it was based on the sticks. Yeah. It was based on your controls, and when you get that line drive and it hits the fairway, and you know you did that all by yourself.
Perfect speed and.
Man, that just feels great when you do that. So I'm really ready to get more information on that because I mean I know B Fife was talking about it, and maybe we can get him back on here one day to actually talk about the golf club because he's a really big fan of the first and the second golf club. He's dwelled a lot of time into both of them. So when that new one comes out, I definitely want to get into that and talk about that.
Another thing. I know you stopped playing AO Tennis. You might want to re-download it.
No, Izzy told me that too. Izzy told me he told me I should get it on my PC because unlike World Tennis Tour, AO Tennis is not PS4 Pro enhanced. On PC, it's already you get all the 4K stuff. So he told me I should get it, but if I get it on PC because it runs really well, even with a mid-level PC. I have a slightly above mid-level, so I know I can hit 4K 60 on it easily. And yeah, he already told me.
Yeah, I would say honestly, the gameplay is kind of getting to the point where it's better than Tennis World Tour, bro. Honestly,
I can believe it because
they made a lot of strides.
Tennis World Tour is a really good game, but the problem is the developers of that game have abandoned that game because they're trying to work on the next one right now. Yeah. Which I don't have a problem with that because as long as you're trying to do something with the franchise, I'm good. But it'd be one thing if you just abandon the game and we don't hear from you again. But they already came out and said that they're working on World Tennis Tour 2, so that's cool. AO Tennis did the opposite. They're working on the game they have now. So that's what Izzy told me.
Yeah, they've been hammering out these patches, and they've definitely made a difference. They also have, I mean, this is a small thing, but they also have a better version of Wimbledon than Tennis World Tour does. They have a better crowd than Tennis World Tour does. The game is harder to play.
The only thing that World Tour has on AO right now is the career mode. The World Tennis Tour career mode is probably one of the best career mode tennis games I've played.
Yeah, I haven't tried AO Tennis.
I haven't tried it either, but I've seen the mechanics and the actual mode. The World Tennis Tour mode is really good, and I think I know why it's that good because the people who make World Tennis Tour, they made Top Spin.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably why their career mode is better. But as far as the sport goes, AO Tennis have done a phenomenal job of upgrading their game. Like I said, Izzy Snow, shout out to Izzy. We talked to him a lot on Twitter. He pretty much told me, look, you need to get. He told me this like a week ago. He said you need to get this game, and he's been putting out clips on Twitter about AO Tennis and how well it plays. And he said it runs phenomenal on PC. So yeah, I'm right with you. I've heard it already. You're the second person that told me, and I will be getting it very soon. Probably next week. I'll probably get it next week.
Yeah, we got big releases in the next, I'd say 2 or 3 months.
And you know what? Great. Like overall, these sports titles are really good enough to play right now. I mean, I think we've been really spoiled as a community with these sports titles. Now, I'm not saying that they're over the top, they're the best, a full-on sim. But for you to get a game and play, some of these games don't have really bad problems. Like, look, this is not 2013 anymore.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying?
hell,
You can easily go back to the late PS3 era and go play around the time when Madden 11 was out. You know
yep.
what I'm saying? It's nowhere near that now. Like every single game has something that you can say, you know what, this game plays really good. Now, the modes that you play, that's a different story. But the actual games and the gameplay, I think they're really good for the most part.
And you heard it here first. Every EA game that comes out this year, as far as sports games, will have its biggest jump, biggest leap in gameplay, and it's gonna all be because of RPM. I've already
Well,
seen it with two of the games.
yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to feel it. I'm really ready to play it and feel it as I play the game because I played Madden. Absolutely, I'm great. I'm actually happy the way that is playing on the field. NHL 18, I played that. I'd expect nothing less with NHL 19. I still have the beta. I need to get into that. And I'll see, FIFA's going to do what they do. PES is going to do what they do. And like I said, Live needs to get their identity straight. And I'm still looking forward to, what's the game called? The Golf Club 2,
Mm-hmm.
Golf Club 2019.
Yep.
So I think overall we're in good hands. I have no complaints overall. I just need these franchise modes to be on point, and I'm there.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that.
Anything else you got to say before we close it?
Uh, Nothing else to talk about, is it?
No, like I said, I think this
Not
episode.
much happening in sports.
No, nothing. I mean, you got a couple of injuries. Lineman for the Panthers got hurt. Another lineman for the Saints got hurt.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about.
What's up?
This has been a bit of a topic. So, I find it funny that Mike Trout is probably the best player of his generation.
Okay.
And he's the least known best player in any league there is out right now.
Well, I mean, I can knock this out the park really easy. That's baseball's problem.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, have you ever seen a player as great as he is, who is undoubtedly the greatest player of his generation, and there are other players in the league that are more known than him? I've never seen it before.
That's a baseball, but the baseball in general just has a really bad marketing problem.
They have a horrible marketing problem. They have a horrible problem with being antiquated.
But you know what, though? It still amazes me that baseball is still as popular as it is.
Because it's a traditionalist sport.
That's true.
It has its loyal fans that will be, loyal until the day that they die. It's, they've gone through the steroid era and, they've stayed around.
You're absolutely right, but that just goes to show you that they could easily be dominating all of sports if they actually get their marketing right. Easily.
Yeah.
They really could. I mean, I got a feeling that they could actually take over football if they got their marketing right. Because baseball, I mean, the quality on the field is great. All these teams are playing pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, it's like you can't, baseball has to get to the point where people want to watch their sport that aren't baseball fans, like hardcore baseball fans. You need to bring casual fans into the fold in order for your league to grow. And baseball hasn't brought casual fans in years, since the steroid era.
Yeah, that is true, and that's one of their main problems right now, and it sucks because, like I said, it's a pretty good product out there on the field. It really is.
I like their commissioner, but what he said about Mike Trout, I just disagree with. Mike Trout likes to keep to himself and, things of that nature, but for him to blame Mike Trout to a certain extent for the reason why Mike Trout isn't as popular, I completely disagree with. Right. Mike Trout doesn't have to be on commercials every 5 seconds for people to know who your best player in the league is. That's on y'all.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? You don't see LeBron James every 5 seconds in commercials, but you do see him on ESPN. You don't see Tiger Woods in commercials every 5 seconds, but you did see him on ESPN. So when your league becomes popular like the NBA and the NFL, then he will get that notoriety. But it starts with how y'all market him and how you guys present your league to casual fans like myself. Because I'm not a hardcore baseball fan. I know a lot about baseball, but I'm not a hardcore baseball fan because, one, the league is very antiquated in their ways, in their thoughts, and their opinions. Very antiquated.
Yeah.
I mean, they think that you should throw the ball at somebody because you did a backflip, a bat flip. Give me a break. Give me a break. I had you had an Atlanta Braves commentator complaining because of what the LA Dodgers players were wearing in batting practice.
Yeah.
He was mad because they weren't wearing jerseys with their names on it. He was mad because they were wearing T-shirts. Seriously, that's the
Yeah.
issue with baseball.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. I don't get it, man. I don't know.
They like this. They are so antiquated. They're so set in their ways. They still want pitchers to hit, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, pitchers hitting was cool when Greg Maddux was doing it. Chip hit
Right.
the long ball. And that was like, what, 15 years, 20 years
It's
ago?
like, give me a break. You got players on your team that barely play, and so they play American League teams because your pitcher is taking a spot in the lineup. It's ridiculous. You got people who believe DHs shouldn't go in the Hall of Fame. Stupid stuff like that. That is the problem with baseball. So if anybody who wants to blame Mike Trout because he's not more famous, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the problem with baseball. And then you got the fact that they play 756 games.
Yeah, I think they need to cut that down. What they play, what, 100?
162.
Yeah, I think that's what, I think they need to cut that in half.
You cut it in half, you got the summer locked down until August. People
not
care
that,
about your sport.
And not only that, with the fact that they don't have that many games out playing, more people will be more interested.
And just spread the games out. Your league could, the season could be just as long. Just spread them out. There's a baseball game every day. I can tell you, I'm suffering from that very thing right now. When I say, "Oh, I can go to a Red Sox game." Oh, it's okay. I'll just go tomorrow. Oh, I can go to a Red Sox game. I'll just go next week. It's like,
but not only that, people just get tired of just looking at it, and they be like, "Okay, it's just so many games. I can't keep up. So I'll just wait until late September, and I'll figure out who's in the playoffs and watch it then."
And it is the only league with that many pointless games.
Pointless.
You got teams winning World Series that go on 10-game losing streaks, people. When does that happen in any other sport?
Who knows, man?
That's Ever, terrible. Dude. That's the issue. That is the issue. 162 games is too many. Like I said, all the way from April to September, I could be like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go next week. I'll go."
Well, hell, you just wait until they make the playoffs,
right?
Because that's what I usually watch baseball. I wait till they get to the actual playoffs, or when it's almost that time. Like, who's gonna catch that wild card? Then I'll start watching. And I always watch the World Series because the World Series is just that's when everybody watches, and it gives me the most interest at that point.
Think about it. Name the 2 World Series teams from last year.
I remember Kansas City was in it. Houston was in it.
Kansas City wasn't in it.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what I remember. I remember when Kansas City lost, and I remember when Kansas City won.
That was a couple years ago.
And I remember when Houston won. That was the
so Houston won last year, and they faced LA, and everybody checked out when the Yankees lost. That is
pretty
horrible.
Pretty much. You're right about that.
Like,
don't tell Uno that. Uno gonna get pissed off.
Hey, man. Houston's a great team. Everybody checked out when New York lost.
Speaking of that, when he's gonna come back on the podcast? I mean,
I don't think Uno ever been on the podcast.
No, he's been on the discussions on the old channel. Yeah. He's never been on the. He needs to come through because he talks a good game when we talk to him on PSN.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at to reach out to him.
Oh, and NY Kia.
Oh, I'm not going there. I'm about to close this out. We know where to find him. We know where to find him. I'm not even gonna put him out there like that because he owes us one because he even said out his mouth that he's coming to this one. It's not we're not pressuring him, but he even said it himself. So we know where to find you at. We know where to find him. We'll catch him. Anyway, I I think that's the end of the podcast. I don't have anything else. I think this has turned out to be really good topics.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got our point across as far as what we expect
Yep.
next week. Definitely next week, Madden will have our hands on Madden so we can actually see what we said is
And
true about our early ratings of the game. See
the
if
first preseason game.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Thursday.
football is back.
Thank
Absolutely.
God, man.
Oh man, it's been too long, man.
And it'll be a perfect team for us to look at because we got a potential situation brewing with Lamar Jackson, Robert Griffin III, and Joe Flacco.
Oh God, I'm not. No. It's not that. It's just this is my first time hearing about those three quarterbacks on the same team.
Yeah.
Who idea was to do that?
I don't know, but guess what? It's good for us because all 4 quarters of every preseason game are going to be interesting now.
That is true. I mean, that is true. But I'm just saying, whose idea was to put those three together? Like, who was thinking that? That doesn't help Joe Flacco. Matter of fact, that helps none of them. Don't get me wrong. Best man wins or whatever, but still, the best man win. Best man gets hurt. The other two quarterbacks are going to be shot.
Could you see Joe Flacco getting traded if RG3 plays anywhere near serviceable in this preseason?
Yes.
I can too.
I can. And I mean, but we can talk about that once the preseason game is
over.
Definitely. But I mean, like I said,
that's like an early thing that I'm kind of seeing. I was wondering.
But I saw that when I knew those three was together.
Right.
And I saw it right then and there. So I was like, Joe Flacco, yes, this was 2008. Was it 2008? Well, no, 2012 when you won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That does not give you the right to continue to lock down a QB spot because somebody's playing better than you. You could be gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. But that definitely get into that topic after all this stuff is going down. Anything else you want to add before we close?
Nah, that's it. We'll have a lot more topics next week, and look out for some videos in the meantime because, like I said, I'll have Madden on Tuesday. So, well, not Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll have Madden Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So look out for videos from that, and I'll definitely be giving my first impressions on this version of Madden 19.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm getting it on EA Origin. I'm going to have it on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday out of work, so I'll definitely be on it. I might go in the YouTuber we were made nameless. I may go on his type of binge and just put out like 20 videos that day.
Here you go, man. See,
No,
we made it all video, man.
We made it all
video, bro. The whole podcast.
Oh well, you know. Now it's gonna be first in Framerates' fault if something happens. Now since we mentioned it, it could be a whole nother person has the problem, but it's gonna be. Y'all boosted his head up. Yo, we talked about expectations of games. What they got to do with whatever issue you got with somebody else. But no, we're gonna definitely. I'm really looking forward to Madden. I really want to see if our expectations were correct because I really want to give up. I mean, I think by the time we do the podcast, we have a few days with the game, so we could definitely give out a review score for it. I definitely want to do that, and we'll just go from there and wait for these other sports titles. Other than that, I'm VF. I got my homeboy Bills with me. Great co-host. Couldn't ask for a better one.
Feel the same way, bro.
Yeah, everybody who watched the podcast, man, please share it. Push this out to everybody. Let everybody know we're the best sports gaming podcast out here. I don't care how big the other ones are. We give you the real. We give you the authentic. We give you the most honest opinions about these games. There's nothing holding us back. There's no overhead. We speak our mind and we do what we do. That's what I feel that makes us the best. And like I said, just share it and let everybody know we're going to give you the honest opinion every single time. Ain't that right, Bills?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's all we're looking to do is give y'all the best content, the most honest opinions, and honestly, I wouldn't rather do this podcast with anybody else besides y'all, you and DJ.
Yeah, man, shout out to DJ, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, we keep it real, man. There's no, we can't say this, we can't say that, or we can't tell you this. And no, there's not a shot.
Our past podcast prove that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's not a shot to any of our friends, because we're really cool with those guys who are somewhat restricted to what they say, but it's just that we have to be different in some type of way, and that's what makes us different. We keep ourselves 100 with y'all, and everything that we talk about is going to be straight up honest opinion, and we're not trying to be funny about it. If a game's good, we're going to tell you what's good about it. If it's bad, we're going to tell you what's bad about it. We're not going to be lockstep and say, oh, don't do this, or lockstep, or you need to do that. We're just going to give you the honest things about these games, and some people are going to tell you Madden's trash, don't ever play it. Or some people are going to tell you Madden's great, play it and give it a chance. We're going to tell you the reason why you should play it, and we're going to tell you the reasons why you should not, because no game's perfect. So if there's something about the game that's good, we're going to tell you. If it's some games that just ain't on point, we're going to tell you about that as well. And I think that's the best way to be. We got to give you the 100% about everything.
And one more sneak peek into next week's episode. Next week, we are going to talk about something that I think is going to be a positive rather than a negative, which is I think it's a good thing that Carlos Guerrero isn't there anymore.
Oh,
because
man.
I think that...
You know what? That should have been a topic last week, and I tiptoed around it because I've been trying to find more stuff about it, but I couldn't find any more. We're definitely getting into that next week. Definitely.
And I'll say this. I think based on the fact that he's not there anymore, and you can see what his...
Yo, did he go? Bills? Bills, are you there? You there? Bills?
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
You went out on me. Go back and say what you said about Guerrero.
What I was saying was, no. I think based on the fact that he's not there, I think if Clint is in charge of the direction of the franchise for at least this year, we're going to be looking at a lot of good patches rather than bad patches, and this game might not get broken like it does every year.
Well, I got my own opinion about him not being there, what his history of other games said about the history of Madden or where Madden was going to go, and the fact that he's not there. I'm going to give you my opinion about that as well, the fact that he's not there. Trust me, I believe it's a good thing, but like I said, I'll talk about that more. But we're going to close it out before we have any more audio issues. And I hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, share it. Please share it and let everybody know what we're doing over here. We do appreciate everybody who listens and push our podcast to the masses.
Yep.
We appreciate it. You guys take care. Peace.
Peace.